Hello everybody, this is Two Dimensional Cube, and it's been a while since I've done anything, but it's currently midnight. I've been up since 7 a.m., and I'm not really all that tired, so I figured let's just write a simple text editor program. Similar to Notepad, which I have up here for reference. And this first episode, we're not going to get too complex or, into depth or anything, but I don't know, we'll just see how far it goes. I'll probably end up building on top of it more later. But first things first, this is my driver class, which has my main method in it. That way our program can actually run. And all it's going to do is create a new instance of a text editor class, which I have over here. Um, if you need to create these classes, just go over to your package, right-click, new class, or click that green button up there. That's all you really have to do for it. This text editor class here is where the main hub of the work and everything's going to be, as far as like the actual editor itself and saving and all that functionality. That's all going to exist within this. So first thing we need to do is import our libraries that we're going to be using. I've done this before, so I have an idea of what I'm doing. It's just been a little while, but we need that. We need java.io. We also need to spell import right. Java.io. That way we can actually use the files, opening files, saving files. And we also need to import javax.swing. That way we can build windows and interfaces. No more console applications. Okay. So our text editor is actually going to extend a JFrame. JFrame extends. So a JFrame is essentially like this is Notepad. It's the window itself, if you want to think about it like that. So we need to extend JFrame in order to, get the usage that we want without having to do a bunch of excess work that we don't really need to do because some of that's done for us. So I guess first things first, the most important thing will be the area to do word processing. Without this, there's no point to the entire thing. That's going to be a private JText Area. We'll just call it area. And it'll be a new JText Area. Dimensions, we can play with that later. I'm just going to give it a 50 by 150. Just something to start off with. We can go back up here and change this as we need. Let's see. What else are we going to need to do before we get too far into this? I guess dialog boxes to open and save files. That will be pretty fundamental and useful, I would say so. So dialog for file manipulation. I don't know. I'm having fun with comments. This is going to be a private JFile chooser. I just call it dialog JFile. What is it? System dot get proper. No, not get. What? Get property. User dot dir. I believe that's how it's gonna work. This will allow us to bring up a. What are you not happy with? One too many parentheses. Yeah. So what that's gonna bring up is something like click open here. It's gonna bring up a dialog pretty much like that. So that way we can actually find and open and save files. We need I guess a file name. That way we can have, like how Notepad has untitled up here at the top. We could use that. Private string current file. And we'll just initialize it to untitled. Did I spell that right? Yeah, I did. Cool. I'm not used to Eclipse. I'm used to IntelliJ, which has a lot of IntelliSense and useful things for me to do less work with. And then we also have like a flag to see if file is changed. Private boolean change. And we'll initialize it to false. So we're going to use this to see, if they've typed anything into the editor or done any sort of changes at all to it. We will use that to bring up like a warning modal saying, hey, you changed it and you're trying to close this thing. Do you want to save or something like that? That's mainly what that's going to be used for. So before we get into this text editor here, the main thing that's going to build all of this and put it all together, we're going to probably go ahead and actually build a couple key things while we're at it. Like key listeners. Well, we need that, but I think we also need to build the actions first. So this will be the new... What are you doing? Get out of here, MySQL. This will be the new action. And what these actions essentially are will be like how these function here in the menu. You'll be able to see more how those work once we actually implement them and can see the text editor themselves. But for now, just bear with me while I go through this. Because if we don't do this now, we're going to have to do it in some weird fashion that I don't want to do. So action, this will be the new action. It's actually a new abstract action. We'll give it a title. We need to not have that C capitalized. We could give it an image icon, I guess. Like an image to show up in the thing. But I don't know. I can't really do that right now because I don't have images on standby. We can add that later if we want. But essentially that will be a new argument here. And it'll be like, new image.png or whatever it is. I don't have that right now, so I'm going to hide that so we don't error out and crash the program. It's going to have a public void action performed within it. Action event E. Nose is itching right now. And what this kind of is doing, this is a new, I guess if you kind of a class within a class, if you will. It's not the greatest way to do this. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much for a small, simple thing like this, but if we're in like a giant object-oriented programming application itself, it helps to keep things separate if possible. Just, words of the wise, I guess, if you will. And then we'll have a couple functions in here. This is a new thing, so what are we going to want this new area, or this new text thing to do? Reset the text area, first of all. So we'll do area.setText, and we'll give it an empty string. That will clear out anything that they've inputted, since it's a new text area. Let's reset the current file name. What do I call it? Current file? Yeah, name. Equals untitled. Since it's a new file. I guess we want to change the changed variable back to false. Since it's a brand new thing, there's no changes in it. And yeah, I think that's good start. We'll add more to that later as we build more actions and everything. What are you not happy with? Must implement action listener.action performed. That's what I did. What are you not happy about? Must implement the inherited abstract method action listener.action performed action event. Is that not what this is? Did I spell action event wrong? Oh, I didn't import that? Well, there you go. I had to import the action event class, which I didn't do earlier. So, I'm surprised I didn't come up with that up there. That's weird. Oh well. Learn something. So now that error is out of the way, we can go ahead and do what we have, new open. So we'll create the open action. No, action. Action open is a new abstract action. And we'll give it a title of open. And we need to, I guess, save time. You can go and just copy and paste and whatnot. Clear out the body of the function. And you need a semicolon, otherwise you're going to get on my nerves because you're yelling at me. So what is the open going to be doing? Got a lot of things I need to do. Like, I want to like save the old files and all that, but we haven't gotten that far yet. I guess we can select file. So we need to open up that dialog that we're... What? No. So we need to open up this dialog so that way they can navigate and pick a file. So we need to if dialog.show open dialog. We'll give it a null argument. We don't need anything with that. And let's do that. Jfile chooser dot approve. Yeah, approve option, I think is what it is. We'll find out later if it's not. And then at that point, we're going to, read in file. I think that might be, is it? Read in file, dialog, get selected file, get absolute path. Okay, yeah. I need to actually write that method, which we'll get to that eventually, but right now we're just kind of building the skeletal structure of this thing. We can come back and fill in as we needed. But what this is going to do is going to open up that dialog with that, and then it's going to essentially see if you click the approve option, and when it does, it's going to get the file by its absolute path, and then we're going to read it in, open it up in the text area, but we'll get to that later. Right now we need to finish up this skeleton, that way we can actually get to the meat of it. We do this save as action. Action, save as new, abstract, action, save as. Give me some breathing room here. Jesus. Get on my nerves with that. What am I doing? Need to override that. Save as, we're going to basically call this, we're going to save the file, which will eventually have like a save file as method that we're going to call for that. But for now, empty body because we haven't done that. We need the, what else is in there? File, open, save. Well, I missed a save one. Should have done that before save as, I guess. Try to keep things in order here. So save action, action, save is a new abstract action, save. Give you a semicolon so you're not mad at me. That. And save, we're going to save file by calling some save file method here at some point. Let's see. I guess we could do, yeah. So let's actually go ahead and build a skeletal structure here of the if, my eye's itching. So if current file name dot equals untitled, if we can spell things correctly, and then we want to else. So we're going to check here as if we're, trying to save a new document. Then we're going to want to call the save as method here. Otherwise, just call save. And these are going to do two different things. Like the save as is going to prompt them to enter in, a file name. Save, we'll just save it because it's going to have a file name, so we won't really need to worry about that. Excuse me. I think that's it for all the basic functionality. We can actually add, just for funsies, we'll just add a quit action. Just, provide some more features that is not in Notepad, although you won't really need this. I don't know why you would, but I want to do it. New abstract action. Quit. Give you a semicolon so you're not mad at me. And all quit's going to do is just, check for changed and save stuff. So I guess now we might as well go ahead and implement some important save methods that we're going to be using throughout this thing. So let's go ahead and do a private void save file. And we'll just say file as, because that'll be the first one that they do anyways. So we need if dialog.show save dialog. It's not going to have a parent. Equals j file chooser.approve option. Then we're going to call the standard save, which I guess I should have done first. I wasn't thinking ahead. Get my wait timer. What are we at? 17 minutes, I guess? Well. Oh, shoot. I forgot to add the action maps. So we need we need a map of the actions. So action map m area dot get action map. And we're going to essentially add these default cut, copy, paste actions. So we want action cut is m.get default editor dot cut action. Since you're not implementing anything, customize here. Action copy m.get default editor kit dot copy action and paste action m.get default editor kit dot paste action. There. Now we should be done with our actions as far as actually creating them. We need to do some, implementation and all that, but we can get to that at some point in time. Let's go ahead and actually start the save method. Yeah. Private void save file. String file name. And we're going to give this one a flower box. So that way we can, do stuff with it. Essentially, these flower box comments, because it can generate Java docs for you or something like that. But save file. File name, the file name. It's just one other way to do comments. So save file is pretty much going to do exactly that. We need to do a try catch exception e. So we're going to use our this input output stuff. We're going to use that here. And that's why we need this try catch block, because some of these things throw exceptions, and if you don't do that, it yells at you, because you have to do that. So we're going to try to find file. Not try to find file, try to save file. So file writer is a new file writer file name. My head itches. Area.write w. fw.close. So these 3 lines here is essentially creating a file writer object, which we will use to essentially write this off to a file and save it. Area.write takes all the text that's in the current area and just sticks it in this file writer basically. And after that, we want to close the file writer. That way we don't run into some sort of leak somewhere. It's just good practice to do that. Current file is equal to file name. And then since we just, name. And since we just, saved it off, we wanted to reset the changed back to false. And, well, I guess we can go ahead and do this save.setEnable to true. So what this is going to do is, obviously, write this to a file and save it. We're going to reset some of our variables here. That way we can, keep things up to date. And save.setEnabled is going to enable that action, basically. That's what it does. So I'm not sure if it's enabled by default. It might not be. We'll figure that out later. Which is a very fun thing to do in programming, is find things out later. So what do we want to do now? What do we want to do now? Do we want to call it there? We're at 21.5 minutes. Yeah, I think I'm going to call this first iteration here at 21.5 minutes. We've implemented some decent skeletal structures. And later on, we're going to add a couple more opening and saving methods. And then we're going to start filling in the rest of the details of these actions and actually start building the text editor. So join me then, if you wish.